Hey people, um, yeah, the IPL rolls on. What's on my mind? I suppose it would be IPL, it would be the cricket, and it's all going on. So as the games come thick and fast, you're sort of watching and trying to figure out, what's good, what's not, what could be better, what gets you thinking, and all of that. And as ever, the game continues to evolve, right? And so teams have to figure out ways in which they'll be most effective and how they're going to win and what's going to put them in the best position and how they're going to put themselves in those positions, the winning positions. And batting first is a tough one because every team now, you win the toss and what you want to do is chase. I don't think there's anywhere really where teams are keen to try and put a score on the board because it seems that the scoreboard pressure issue is not such a big thing, especially if you can bowl particularly well first up. And I say that, yes, you bowl well, but also there's that kind of tentativeness with some teams when it comes to trying to set a target because they're unsure just how to go about it. And by that, I suppose there are little nuances in that, in that you could get a good total. So like you get 200, and when it's a really good surface, it gets chased down. And I think gone are the days where you say, oh, good surface, got 200, did well, but they play better. Because I think there can be scenarios where runs are left out there, not necessarily case in point or anything, but RCB get 212, it gets chased down, and that's you might look and you say, oh, bowlers haven't defended that, they could have and should have, and all the rest because of what's kind of pre-programmed in your head, and that's kind of part of what I'm talking about. In that, gone are the days where number one, milestones in T20 cricket are necessarily important. I say that not to say a guy shouldn't want to get 100, but maybe we should kind of redefine the milestone, and perhaps we should go from a strike rate perspective. Face X number of balls at Y strike rate, and that is a milestone. And if we do that, then that kind of becomes the goal. Because currently, with the way that cricket is set, with kind of many of us old fogies are programmed, and that just gets passed on and on in the game, right? That if you get to 50, you get a half century. So that's good, If you get 5 wickets, well done. If you get 100, if that's kind of how it goes, and that's how it's set up because the game is like that. If you take that and you go to test match cricket, no problem, no issues, because 100 can ensure that your team wins the game. Even that you might want to question nowadays. I say question, 100 is 100. But if you get it too slowly, maybe you don't give your bowlers time, right? Like all of that. That's in test matches. It's not what I'm talking about, though. But just the redefining of milestones. So, I don't know, 30 balls. If you face 30 balls and your strike rate is 200, if you face 30 balls and your strike rate is more than 175, perhaps that then kind of constitutes what is a milestone. I don't know. I don't know what you think out there. But it needs to be redefined, I think, so that the goal then becomes that bit different. And those teams that are batting first in their assessment of conditions, when the conditions are really good, the option to sort of throttle down and kind of be circumspect rather than to take the most aggressive option might kind of, go out the window. It might then be helter-skelter. Case in point, I think that CSK against RCB was and RCB could have won the game, by the way. And not because of anything other than those were particularly good batting performances from both sides, as in Conway, Rahane, Dube. They did well. They did well for CSK, but Duplessis as well as Maxwell were quite incredible, and just the two of them could have won the game. However, RCB were under that much pressure because CSK took the aggressive option. They went at it against the RCB bowlers and therefore got themselves above par. And yes, that would be debatable. It would be debatable because, some would say, yeah, but if it was above par, RCB got themselves into a position where they should have won the game. And, really from a certain position, 4 of us to go, 4 of us out, they, 6 down, they should have won it. Fair enough, you can say that. If CSK don't get above par, they probably do win it. Now, my question and what I want us to talk about and what I want us to, kind of chew on is, can the game, the T20 game, have milestones redefined? Can it be about strike rates? And can we get to a place where we say a 175% strike rate, maybe 200 because milestones, tough to get. 200 having faced more than 25 balls, maybe faced more than 30 balls, is kind of the goal. Because if you do that, generally you're going to put your team in a winning position. Last thing to say, I suppose, is the reason strike rate's so important. Obviously you score quicker, obviously your team gets more runs. But we also mustn't underestimate the value of a cameo. Right at the back end, these players who can walk in, Hetmai is a great example. Face 10 balls or less, and he'll strike at 300. And that's why I kind of went with the milestone being 30 balls or more, 5 balls, can you hit 3 of them at the ground? There are players like that who will get you 20 off 5 and 18 off 7. They walk in and bang, bang. And I think Ashwin the other night walked in and bang, bang, that kind of shifts a game. And those 20 runs that you get, those 30 runs that you get, take your score from being what is a middling score to one that's quite difficult to get. That's what you want in the T20 game. So, let's talk about that. Come on. What do you reckon? You reckon onto something there or not? Do you reckon teams are getting stuck still in a kind of old mindset and not taking the aggressive option and should be? And would changing the milestones instead of focusing on 50s or 100s, focusing on strike rate and according to the number of balls they face, would that shift them? And would the totals get even higher? Tell you what, with these impact subs, they probably could get that much higher. I want to hear from you. Come on. And also, remember to subscribe. Press the subscribe button.